People who have the guts to ask their crush out. What happened afterwards? Found out she liked me before she started dating her new boyfriend. Dang. She thought I was joking. We're still friends, but it was pretty awkward. Oh hey, this has been me like 8 times. I need to get better at reading signals. I told her I loved her on the first date. She said what I said it again in case she didn't bloody hear it the first time. Few years later we're still together. So far it's the best decision I've ever made. He screamed no and ran away. This was in the 5th grade. Life be like that sometimes. She said yes. Asked her out on a second date. Specifically said the word date this time. She said she didn't know we were going out on dates. Oh well. Classic. We were hanging out at our typical spot when I told her that I'd had a big crush on her for the past year and I'd really like it if she gave me a shot. Just one date. She said hey, nah, I don't see you like that. And then it was pretty freaking weird. She tried changing the subject, but I was a million miles away by that point. I made up a reason to take off and she graciously didn't call me out for it being balls. I avoided her over the next few weeks. For some reason or another, her rejection humiliated me even though no one else knew about it. If she texted to see if I wanted to hang out, I wouldn't respond or I'd lie and say I was doing something. One night, there was a knock on the door of my apartment. It was her. I knew she'd come around. I opened the door and she came in and sat down on my couch and said this, and I'm paraphrasing. I just don't like you in a romantic way. I can't help it. I'm just not attracted to you. You just don't spark my fire. I'm sorry. That being said, I miss you. You're my best friend and I spend pretty much all my free time with you. So if you want to go on a date with me, I'll do that for you. And I realized how much my friendship meant to her and how crappy and cowardly I'd been to avoid her after she rejected me. I told her that I was sorry, and if she could forgive me and see her way past this, I'd really like to resume our friendship. It wasn't easy, but I was able to find the maturity to conquer those feelings. We picked up where we left off, minus a little baggage. A few years ago, a lifelong friend from back home came down to visit me. I introduced him to my friends here and, well, she found her spark. They've been happily married now for 2 years and I can only hope that their son and my daughter can enjoy the same level of friendship as her and I do. I realized I developed crushes easily and had pretty bad taste. Before you get to know the person, some attraction is okay. What happens though, the longer you don't ask them out, the more they become idolized in your head. If you ask them out and they say yes, you might even be surprised that you aren't that into them once you get to know them. We went out on a date and I learned she was not the one for me after all. But it was a good lesson, and had I not asked her out, I'd just agonized over what might have been. I've had multiple crushes. All of them rejected me and never talked to me again. Sounds about right. The best one was I'll think about it, which was followed a day later by her asking my best friend to tell me not to talk to her again. Fun for days. Haha, I got rejected and now it's awkward sometimes. Respect for trying. Sorry it's awkward. Sometimes crap happens, and at least you know. She's sitting next to me in our apartment playing Minecraft. Never thought she'd actually be interested in me. I guess I was selling myself short. Do it OP. Could be the best thing you ever do. Minecraft will always, and I mean always, get you the woman you want. She punched me in the arm and said frick yeah, then we went on the most awkward nerd date because we just wanted to like each other. It was a good nerd date. We are still dating to this day. Nice to see some positivity among the rejection. Asked mine out today, have a date on Friday. Congrats on your courage and have a great date on Friday. I actually asked her to a dance and she said no. Half a year later I asked another crush to a dance and she said no. Then half a year after that I asked a different crush to the dance and guess what? Holy frick, she said yes. I was freaking confused. I wasn't used to that answer. Well, we've had someone ghost me, a bunch of standard rejection, me freaking up terribly with one person in particular and never getting the chance again, and one person admit that they were interested in someone else. I'm sorry to hear about that, man. I too have had bad luck. She said she wants to go out on a date. 1 led to 2, 3, etc. Sunday I'm gonna try and kiss her after our concert. Eat plenty of beans before the date and bring beans for her to eat too. B love beans. She said yes and we went out to dinner and saw a movie together. Dropping her off, we kissed on her parents' front porch for what seemed like forever. Her dad thought so too because he started flicking the porch lights on and off. Good times. Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you'd wait forever. Oh, and when you held my hand, I knew it was now or never. Those were the best days of our lives. My sophomore, her junior year of college, we got introduced through mutual friends and we started hanging out at parties we both went to, in the coffee shop at my school, doing homework, all that. We didn't really seek each other out, just kept running into each other because of our mutual friend groups. This went on for a month. We'd hang out and chat and flirt jokingly. I didn't think I had a chance with her being a pretty, popular girl a year older than me, so I figured she was just being nice, returning my jokes and all. It turns out, she didn't think she had a chance with me and also thought I was just being nice, friendly with my jokes. Her and her friends would always joke, when will I be with you, Thermal Climber? He is the light of my life, and so I didn't think of it as any less of a fun joke when she did it. One night we both went out to a bar party with a group of friends and ended up going home with different people. We were chatting about it the next day and I was like, frick, this hurts a little. Is this feelings? A couple days later she mentioned that the guy wanted to grab lunch with her, and she wasn't sure she was into him the same way. I was walking her home and thought that if I didn't say something I'd regret it. So I gambled that maybe all that joking flirting from her was real, told her I had feelings for her, and then spent the longest 5 seconds of my life waiting to hear "I'm glad you said something, because I like you too." It's been 2.5 years and we're still going strong. That's awesome. I have a tip for everyone who finds it difficult to ask out people they're interested in. Ask them out before you get too attached. Then if they say no, it's not devastating. If they say yes, you get this time to get to know them and you can break it off if you decide you're actually not interested. If you have to see them often and you're worried they might treat you differently, just say "I just wanted to explore my options with you" if they turn you down. Don't let them think you were in love with them or something like that. Good luck. Last time I tried this, she said yes. I got super attached and then she basically say lol JK and started dating my best friend. Wait to get attached until you have the second date planned. I sat next to her in the university cafeteria. It was really awkward. Then one of her friends came by and made it more so. Turns out we were both really shy, but had a mutual interest in geekery like sci-fi. We've been married 15 years now. This gives me hope after I've sat alone in my university cafeteria every day since I've started college. He was the head chef where I worked and I was new in town. We always sat in the same booth during our breaks and got to know each other over the course of a month and found out we had a lot in common. One night before I left, I wrote my number down to give it to him and to ask him out. We asked each other, "Do you wanna hang out?" at the same time, and then blushed. Our first date was at a rooftop bar celebrating a co-worker's birthday. He asked me if he could kiss me. That's when I knew he was the one. Now, years later, we have a beautiful baby boy that we love more than each other. He still has my phone number in his wallet. We're getting married on Saturday. Nice. I just recently got my first ever crush. It is really hard for me to develop feelings for someone, as I need to know this person very good. I know her for more than 2 years now and we never were more than just school friends. The last holidays though, we suddenly did more and more together with other friends and I developed feelings for her. Then, after we had been at a friend's house and slept there after a movie night with 6 people in one room, I should have had to share a bed with a male friend of mine. But I did share this bed with my crush. She liked me. I did not know at that time though. We drank a bit and cuddled before on the sofa while watching movies for a while. So I just went into the bed I should have had to share with my male friend with her. Lol. We cuddled the whole night and I asked her out the next day. She said yes and we are now in a relationship. I am beyond happy. This is exactly how I would want to start a relationship with someone. He said he wasn't looking for a girlfriend but he was interested if it was physical only. I politely declined. Well, at least he was honest about it. She really wanted to but was busy. I go to a cafe and the barista is a grade A cutie pie. I just broke up out of a soul-sucking relationship 3 months ago that had lasted 7 years and 5 years longer than it should have. We talked often after work, for me, and shared similar tastes in music, if not an appreciation for all music, appreciation for film, and discussed much of it, even suggested some movies to each other to watch, and shot sarcastic comments back and forth. I mustered the courage to ask her to go pumpkin carving last weekend and she said she would love to. She asked the next day if I'd liked it out because she had a surprise day of work off. We had a 4-hour conversation at a cafe downtown and then went on a 2-hour walk. Came back to the car holding hands. In all of my life I've never really done that. She said she wanted to not get into a relationship like that quickly and I agreed. Drove her home and gave each other a hug goodbye. She asked if Kay wanted to come over that next Friday evening and cook dinner and watch some scary movies. We did and it was great. Watching people get chainsawed in half had the desired effect, I believe, because I ended up crawling into her arms and squeezing her palms. Watched the next movie and just ended up essentially hugging the entire time and scratching each other's head. Time to go, and I go to give her a kiss on the cheek goodnight, but she goes for the lips instead. We laugh. 2 nights later and we spend Sunday all together and go thrift store shopping. Too much rain for the planned pumpkin carving. 6 hours later, I walk her to her car and we look into each other's eyes. I go in for the real deal kiss and she does too. That was yesterday. I feel a happiness inside I haven't felt inside in years. We are extremely blunt and to the point with each other. Much of the dialogue between us in the above story is this way. I like her because she makes me want to take care of myself and to be myself. I feel like exercising and studying reading again for the first time in years all of a sudden. It has only been little more than a week, and I am hesitant to out labels to this right now. In fact, I don't know why I am even sharing this. I can tell she is very special to me, and that's all that matters, I suppose. You never know who you will discover behind a face until you talk to them. This has most definitely affected me for the better, even if it does not end in the ideal manner. My only hope is that my old habits do not resurface and hurt this. Thanks for reading. Enjoy your time together. Makes me happy to see someone take steps to improve themselves and actually acknowledge the lessons as they unfold in front of them. Good luck. We're still together 15 years later. Happy and in love. Apparently I was the catch, but didn't realize. We met on Tinder and after about a month or so of seriously talking and hanging out we were laying in bed about to fall asleep and I asked him to be my boyfriend. The next morning we talked about it and he said he thought it was in a dream that I asked, but still stood by his answer 100%. That was 8 months ago and we are still happily dating. Dang. My GF and I have been together for almost 9 months now and we also met on Tinder. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so on our third date, we were watching A New Hope and I paused the movie to ask if she wanted to be my girlfriend. She said yes, and then I had no idea what to do so I just resumed the movie. Rejected and worse, he bullied me all through high school. When I asked them out, they just looked at me and said these exact words. You know you're ugly and I'm pretty, right? I gave up on love after that, but then one of my other crushes asked me out. He refused me, politely telling me he's actually male. I thought he was a girl. Rejection. Respect for trying. 3rd grade. He showed everyone the gift I made him and everyone laughed at me for weeks. I thought it was a nice gift, made it myself. Apparently not. Frick them. Kids are cruel. It probably was a nice gift, just not a nice person. I was an idiot and told him that I wanted to include him in my harem, and he got confused but then realized I just confessed my feelings for him. Cue the oh crap I liked you too are so pretty and me freaking out, because I didn't think I'd get this far. He then stopped me and said we weren't gonna date yet, BC he had issues he wanted to sort it. 3 months later, a lot of romantic tension, and we began dating. Now, we're a month away from our first anniversary. Props to your guy for saying he needed to work out his personal issues first. Good man there. I dated her for 8 years, then married her. 2 years strong marriage last week. If you ask your crush out, the worst that happens is you're embarrassed for a couple days. The reward, however, has the potential to be life-changing. If you ask your crush out, the worst that happens is you're embarrassed for a couple days. Frick, I wish. Not exactly my story, as it is his, but when I was in high school I had this huge crush on this guy in my friend group. Gamers, nerds, outcasts, etc. Starting from the 9th grade. He was seriously the funniest person I had ever met, and he was so cool because of it. All my female friends would tell me to just ask him out, but I couldn't because I was so afraid he would say no and make fun of me for the rest of my high school experience. In my junior year he left to go to a different school, but we still kept in touch because his cousin, who also went to the school, became my best friend. To this day, she had managed to give me his number, and after mustering up the courage to text him, he was actually engaging conversations with me, even though I was lanky and gross. Then the texting fell off and we grew distant in our senior year. One day my bestie had a family event at her house and my crush was there. We all had such a good time and I realized that my feelings, which had merely been in hibernation, were back and stronger than ever, but he was probably too cool to notice me. Later that day after I went home he messaged me, told me he really liked me, and wanted to date. We dated for almost a year before I had to leave for college and frick up my life entirely. Moral of the story is ask them out, cause maybe they'll say yes. PS. If you're put there D, I'm really freaking sorry. She just said yes. I thought you'd never ask and then smiled and hugged me. We went to the movies. Quite wholesome, my friend. She said yes. We got married and had kids. Coming up on 15 years together. She said no, but not a hard no. I am not interested, just I already have other plans or something similar. The same thing the next time I asked her. Repeat for 18 times. The 19th time she went out with me. By the 4th date or so we were talking in terms of when we get married wheel. That was 46 years ago. Married for 43 years now. More in love than ever. This is one person who went against all odds and came out the other side. 19 tries. Whoa, you have my respect, sir. I confessed to my crush at a homecoming rally. He said I know. That was it. He recently came out and I'm happy for him. Doing the classic Han Solo. What a power move. Turns out she liked me. Got a first date that turned into almost 2 years worth of being emotionally dead inside. Pro tip: before you ask out your crush, really get to know them. Made the mistake of thinking I could help someone very troubled, and turns out 99.9% of the time they just drag you down to their level. Wish I had someone to give me advice back then. Sucks we have to learn these things on our own. Like this video and this good bee will play you a nice song. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.